All right, we are going to do a little bit of practice in our chapter 12 dealing with time cards. We're going to jump all the way forward to page 360, and we're going to do 12.1 application problem. And it says employee time cards are given in the working papers. Calculate the regular and the overtime along with the total hours worked for each employee. Any hours above and beyond the regular 8-hour day are going to be considered overtime. In the state of Minnesota, anything above and beyond 40 hours in a work week legally needs to be paid overtime. So if you work, say, 44 hours in one week and then 38 hours in the second week, you still need to get paid for those 4 hours overtime in the first week. Doesn't matter that you didn't quite earn enough in the second week. So we're going to go ahead and start working through 12.1 application. As we take a look, we got our first employee here, employee number 14. Her name is Marie Kearns. This pay period is from April 1 through April 15th, this chunk of time. It's got when she punched in and when she punched out. So again, we're not looking to the minute. That's kind of a waste of time in my opinion. No business is ever going to deal with that. They do want to know when you're punching in and when you're punching out. So as we start doing our math here, we're taking a look. They're punching in at roughly 8 o'clock and they're punching out at noon. That's a 4-hour chunk of time, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. They come back in at 1, punch back in at 1 and work till 5, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Okay, 4 hours on the front end, 4 hours after lunch. So they put in an 8-hour regular day. Okay, regular hours are going to be in the second to last column. Overtime is going to be in that last column. Next day of the week. Okay, again, a 4-hour chunk, lunch, a 4-hour chunk, 8 hours. 4 hours, 4 hours. That's 8 hours of regular time, but they put in some overtime. Punch back in after dinner at 7 o'clock, work till roughly 8 o'clock, so that is 1 hour of overtime, 7 to 8. 8 hours on the fourth day of the week, 8 hours on the fifth day of the week. Scroll down here to week 2, looks like it is a 2-week time period. Again, you're punching in around 8, you're punching out at noon, that's a 4-hour chunk of time. Again, here another 4-hour chunk of time. Now here's where we got to be careful. 5:59, this is overtime. 5:59, really 6 o'clock till 7:30. That's 6 to 7 plus another 30 minutes. That's 1.5 hours of overtime. Next up is an 8-hour workday. Next up is an 8-hour workday. Next up is an 8-hour workday. Come back in from 6 to 7:30. That's an hour and a half. Come in my last day of the week, 8-hour workday. Okay. As I look down here, our employee, which in this example is Marie, Marie works a 40-hour work week in week 1. Marie works another 40-hour work week in week 2. She works a total of 80 hours at her regular rate of pay, which is $11.80 per hour. If we do that math, and you can use Excel to do this, you can use Google Sheets to do this, kind of simple, that cell times that cell. You can use a calculator or your cell phone. 80 hours times $11.80. She earned a total of $944 in regular earnings this pay period. Now, as we look back, she worked 1 hour of overtime here. She worked an hour and a half and an hour and a half. When we add all of that up, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 hours of overtime. Now, overtime is calculated as 1.5 times your regular rate of pay. So if she's working at $11.80 per hour, we multiply that by 1.5. On those overtime hours, she's working and making $17.70 per hour. $17.70 per hour times 4 hours, she earned $70.80. for just her overtime hours. Again, whatever is above 40 hours in a given work week. She worked a total of 84 hours. Her total earnings are $1,014.80. Now, this is not what she is getting paid. We will have to deal with taxes in the next unit. This is what she earned. This is not what she was paid. Okay. Let's move on to our second employee. This one is Ethan Miller, or Henry Miller, my apologies, Henry Miller. Sorry, Henry. He's employee number 11, again, getting paid on the 15th. The rest of this math should be fairly simple. Again, check in and check out, 4 hours, check in and check out, 4 hours. He's got one chunk of overtime from 6 to 7. We move on down. His second chunk of the work week, again, checking on her hours. 8 hours on a regular day. Each of these, again, roughly the same thing. He's got an hour and a half there. Here he's got 2.5. Okay, got to take your time and notice this is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Actually 9:32, so that's 2.5 hours. 40 hours of regular earnings, both pay periods. 1 hour of overtime there. 4 hours overtime there. So combined, he's got 5 hours of overtime this pay period. So regular earnings are 80 hours, 5 hours of overtime earnings. He's getting paid $9.80 an hour. He earns $784 in regular earnings over his 2-week time period, 5 hours of overtime. So $9.80 times 1.5 is $14.70 an hour on his overtime hours, times 5 hours of overtime. He's going to earn $73.50 in overtime. $857.50 is his earnings on an 85-hour pay period. Go ahead and take a minute and finish up our third employee. We got Sylvia Rodriguez. Again, do our math. What are her regular earnings? What are her overtime earnings? Hit pause on the video, and we will then take a look at the answers in a second. All right, welcome back. We are finishing up with our 12-1 application problem. We have our 3 employees and our answers here. Okay, a little cleaner handwriting than what I got going on. As we take a look, we have employee number 1, 80 regular hours this pay period over a 2-week time frame, earning $11.80 an hour, putting in 4 hours of overtime. They end up earning $1,014.80. We move forward to our second employee. Again, they're going to put in 80 hours of regular earnings, 5 hours of overtime. You have our last employee. You guys did this one on your own. They only had 1 chunk of overtime, hour and a half here on their second day. So they had 80 hours of regular earnings, only an hour and a half of overtime. $9.20 was their regular rate of pay. $13.80 was their overtime rate of pay. $756.70 is what their total earnings were. Okay? Not what they took home, that's what they earned. We're going to take a look at 12.2, talking about payroll taxes here in just a minute.